Sarah.
Yeah?
I don't want to scare you.
Yeah.
However, I think Totoro's been bugged.
Oh no!
I think he's mic'd. He's like wired up.
Oh my god. We're gonna die.
No, I think it's more like he's gonna record the sound and then like
Of our podcast.
distribute it as a podcast.
Oh, okay. I mean, it's not the first time he's done that today.
Yeah. So I mean, maybe we should give him something to listen to.
Like the MCU review.
Yeah, it's this cool idea for a podcast we had where we watch movies from the MCU and then we review them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just so happen to be pretty far into this.
Yeah, like
Black Panther far.
like only 2 movies left that are out far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Speaking of
We
which,
talk to Totoro a lot.
Yeah. He's the inside man.
He's the inside man.
So, I recommend that you start to recap the movie Black Panther.
Okay, so Black Panther starts out with this kid being like, hey, tell me
A story.
a story about our home, talking about Wakanda, and he goes on to tell him about how a meteorite struck Africa and that it stayed there until people came, like humans existed, and then the humans that were there created 4 tribes. No, was it 5?
5.
5 tribes, and started a war over it. And then one rose up
Because he found a flower.
because his goddess, the Black Panther, led him to the heart-shaped herb, and that he became king of the 5 tribes. But one of the tribes secluded themselves in the mountain.
Yeah, they're like, we're not dealing with this.
And that they then saw the world was fastly growing around them, but not as fast as they were, and that they were becoming more warlike. And they were like, no, we don't want this, and hid themselves in plain sight by doing like a force field thing but with heavily dense rainforest, kind of.
So it looks like a rainforest.
But in reality, it's Wakanda.
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes to 1992. I wrote down the date this time.
Mm-hmm.
And we see this guy planning something, and some of these kids playing outside.
Basketball.
And the guys are planning something, and then they hear like a knock on the door, and they're like, oh no, it's the feds.
Receiving incoming transmission.
That would be Sarah's phone, and also Sarah's mom.
Yeah.
Also, I'd like to apologize if you can hear the sound of me eating.
Or the sound of our drinks, because they're carbonated and they like to pop.
They're busy.
And so they're like, oh no, it's the feds. And one dude looks out the window and is like, nah, it's not the feds. So the guy like looks out the door after hearing a knock.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, whoa, there's these 2 like weird chicks with spears. And the other dude's like, you should let them in, because they're not going to knock twice. And so he's like, are you sure? And he's like, uh-huh. And so they let him in, and they're like, the king, and they're like, identify yourselves. And one of them pulls down their lip and shows that he's a Wakandan.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, okay, the king wishes an audience kind of thing. And then the lights black out, and the Black Panther shows up, which is T'Chaka.
Mm-hmm.
And they go on about, like, you, we're selling vibranium.
Receiving incoming transmission.
Sarah!
I'm sorry, I got another text. And then, they were like, Ayo, you were selling some shenanigans, vibranium.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want that. And he was like, how do you even know that? And they're like, we have an inside man. That dude over there, that's your friend.
Mm-hmm.
And, so...
Turns out, he's from Wakanda.
Yeah, it turns out he's from Wakanda, and they were the guy he planted. And, he's like, what? No! And, they get into a small fight, and he kills the
Black Panther.
The Black Panther kills his brother, which was the dude that sold the, vibranium, or was selling it. And then it, like, flashes to,
They're getting that one girl out of the trucks.
Yeah, they're this is after a civil war, so T'Challa has died.
T'Chaka has died.
Sorry, too many similar names. Ah! T'Chaka has died, and he's being crowned king. And
T'Challa's being crowned king.
T'Challa's being crowned king.
T'Chaka can't be crowned king. 1, because he's already king. 2, because he's dead.
And he wants his used-to-be fiance to be there.
Uh-huh.
And
They're cute.
yeah, they're cute.
Don't freeze.
Yeah,
He froze, didn't he?
And he brings along the head warrior, and she's like, "Don't freeze when you see her." And he's like, Psh, "I'm not gonna freeze."
I never freeze.
And so he gets there and he fights some guys, but when he sees her, he totally freezes. And so the warrior chick comes out and finishes him off. And she's like, his fiance is like, "Hey,
Ayo.
Ayo." And she was like, "This was my mission and you ruined it." He's like, "My dad's dead. And I'm about to be crowned king tomorrow and I want you to be there." And she's like, "Oh, okay."
Cool.
And so they go back to Wakanda, and he's like, he meets up with his mother and his sister. I don't know the mother's name, but
I don't know. The queen.
I call her Queen Mother.
That's what a lot of people call her.
And Shuri, and his mother's like,
I think it's something with an R, but I don't remember what.
And his mother is like, "Your father would be proud of you," stuff. And like Shuri's like, "I'm out. I got some technical stuff to do.
Well,
Hand me
first-
your beads."
Yeah, give me your beads. I'm gonna upgrade them.
And so she walks off after flipping him off, and she gets in trouble by her mom. And it kind of,
I love Shuri.
his mother and him have like a heart-to-heart moment, and then it flashes to him going to Shuri. And Shuri is like, "I got some new stuff for you, like these sneakers," which are shoes that
Are very quiet.
that
And
absorb
they lace
sound.
themselves. They're like the soles of shoes, and then you step on them, and then they become shoes.
And then there's a new suit because you don't want to take off and on your helmet. That's very inconvenient. And then
People are shooting at me. Oh, let me put on my helmet.
Yeah.
No.
Sorry.
It's great. I love Shuri.
My mom's texting me.
Shuri's just like, "Hey, I see what you're doing, but I can do it better." Like that song, "Anything you can do, I can do better." That's just Shuri. Shuri's just like, "I see what you're going for, but let me fix it."
And then, hold on, I don't remember what happens after the blonde. She's like showing him what the suit can do. And then,
that scene.
yeah, and then, it's pretty cool. You should watch it.
It absorbs a kinetic energy, and then it can like send it out. So she's like, "Hit it," and he hits it, and then it goes flying across the room, and she fixes it, and she's like, "Okay, hit it again. Why are you recording?" "Research purposes." Hits it again, goes flying backwards. Delete the footage.
And then,
Receiving incoming.
Sari.
I'm sorry. And then, they go to the, ritual, like, fighting things. But they're having, like, a good time before. They're, like, on party boats. It's great.
I love that.
And then, they get to, like, the thing, and they're like, "Nobody wants to fight you because you deserve to be king." And then, they're about to end the ritual.
We will not challenge today.
And then they're about to end the ritual, and then the other clan that lives in the mountains
The
actually
Factus.
came down.
Yeah.
And we're like, "Hey, we're gonna challenge you because we don't think you're doing it right."
You have a child running your, technology. Why? This doesn't seem smart, guys.
And then, so they fight, and it doesn't look like the guy that's losing, which is the guy from the mountains, is going to yield.
Yep.
And,
T'Challa.
is it T'Challa? No, that's his father.
No,
No.
T'Chaka's his father.
Okay, T'Challa. Too many names. I can't do names by themselves when they're too similar. They get mixed up. And so he doesn't want to kill him, but he will if he has to. But finally, he yields, and they go on about their day. He becomes the Black Panther again because for the ritual he had to get his powers taken away.
Can I help you? Okay. Okay.
Too many names.
T'Chaka
Yeah.
is the old king.
Yeah.
Old school. Blackboards. Chalk.
Okay.
T'Chaka.
T'Chaka. And then
Is that better?
T'Challa
Yeah.
is. Okay. That might help me. We'll find out. And then, so they go into, he goes into like this coma-like state for a little bit, and he has like I'm gonna call them hallucinations. He contacts his father in the
Goes
dead.
to the spirit world.
Yeah. And he's like, his father is like, no, he says to his father, I'm not ready for this. And he's like, have I not taught you everything you need to know? And he's like, no, not that. I'm not ready to be without you. And then, T'Chaka, is like, just laughs, and he comes back to the living. And they're like, you are Black Panther now. And then, he goes to a meeting. They're like, hey, there's like these Americans that are selling vibranium. We think it's,
No, they knew it was Claw.
Claw, there we go.
And Claw, we see the scene, Claw, and this one dude's talking to this, like, museum lady.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, what's this? And he's like, you're wrong about this thing. You might have gotten it there, but actually, it's vibranium from Wakanda.
Yeah, and they,
and then we find out she was poisoned. Her coffee was poisoned.
She dies, and they do this elaborate thing to get it out of there.
Yeah.
And they get it out of there. And so,
what I think is neat is that, like, we're like, how did her coffee get poisoned? And then, like, it's kind of subtle that, like, his, the dude's girlfriend. Kilgrave's girlfriend was, like, behind the, coffee stand. And it's, I think that's very interesting, where they're, like, subtlety.
Yeah. His name is, his nickname is actually Killmonger.
Oh, Killmonger. Who's Kilgrave?
I don't know.
Kilgrave's someone.
I don't know. But I know he was Killmonger because later they're telling about him, and they're like, they called him Killmonger because he killed so many.
He like has a mark for every kill.
And it covers like his entire like torso and arms.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
And he has the lip thing.
And he has like the lips. His father gave him that so one day he could see the sunsets in Wakanda. And so he's like, I'm gonna do what my father couldn't, and I'm gonna get Claw.
Oh, Kilgrave's the guy from
Age of Ultron?
No. The what's the thing? The Jessica Jones.
Oh,
that
yeah.
The show I don't want to watch because I saw like part of the first episode and I'm like, that's not PG. No.
I've seen like the first season. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't think we should review that on the podcast.
No, it's definitely not family friendly.
Not PG. No offense, guys. I'm kind of like PG person. Like, I'm just like, I don't want to see that. I definitely don't want to talk about that.
My family did not allow me to be PG. You've met my family.
Yeah, your family legit watches, like...
I was still in high school. Like, I was freshman year high school. I just got into high school. And they're like, do you want to watch, like, Game of Thrones? I was like, I've heard that's not PG, but yeah. And then, like, if you've seen the first episode of, like,
Game of Thrones?
Yes. You definitely, it sets you up to know that this is definitely nowhere near PG rating.
I know.
This is, like, straight into, like, R or X.
I know there's, like, sibling romance, which...
Yeah, that's in the first episode. And, there's a lot of murdering, and you go, oh, like, I went, oh. Okay. Why did you suggest this to me, father? And I was like, I've already committed, I guess, and I watched it, and occasionally you'll hear me and my dad just quote Game of Thrones at each other.
You've quoted Game of Thrones at me, and I'm like,
you're like,
what?
I think actually, while we were watching Black Panther, I quoted it subtly, and then I was like, haha, that was a Game of Thrones reference. And you're like,
What?
okay. I don't remember what I said.
I remember that happening too, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What is that? What is that a reference to? What does that mean?
And I also, in one of my last notes is also part of a Game of Thrones reference.
Sarah, stop. Sarah, stop.
It gets, you get, like, desensitized to it after a while, so you're able to watch through it. Like, after the first season, you're desensitized to it, and you're like, yep, I'll watch the other 7 seasons of this.
Okay.
And me and my father are waiting for the last season, so my family's not...
You're not a PG
We're
family.
nowhere near a PG family.
Go on.
Where were we? I don't, they were gonna go to the casino.
Yeah.
Like,
The thing. With the thing.
it was like a back door casino.
In Korea.
In Korea, and they went through, and they were like, there's Americans here. Like, they were listing off how many they, like,
And they're like,
knew.
hold up, that dude's legit. That guy's Watson. What's Watson doing here?
Martin Freeman. And they're like, what? And so
T'Challa?
T'Challa was T'Challa was like, I know you. I'm gonna give you a warning. We are not leaving without Claw or the vibranium. And Martin Freeman was like, I don't know his character's name.
Ross?
I'm just gonna call him Martin Freeman, straight up Martin Freeman. And he was like, I didn't tell anyone that you were a king running around in a suit made of vibranium as a cat.
Yeah, I think we're even, because he was like, I gave you the guy who, in Civil War, the bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I gave you that guy. And he's like, and I didn't tell the world you were a guy running around in a cat suit. So, I think we're even.
Yeah, and he goes, no, I'm taking him. And so they get into this really big fight because they don't, subtlety, what is that? And
No, like, they don't fight.
the Americans accidentally start it, and the Wakandans finish it.
The dude. Yeah.
And, but still...
With Claw. Not
Yeah.
with each other.
But still,
Not good.
Claw, it goes out into the streets
Yeah.
with cars and stuff. But, they end up having to leave behind.
They don't kill him.
They don't kill him.
Because people are watching.
because
But they
the world
almost
is watching.
killed him.
Yeah. And then, they let, Martin Freeman take him and question him. They're like, we give him, they were talking in their language, which is Exaliant.
It starts with an X.
Yeah. And they're like, we are
Gonna let him, just let him talk to him for like 5 minutes.
And so they were like, we'll let you talk to him for 5 minutes. He's like, no, we're keeping him. You be good, like, I'll be good bad cop, you be good cop. And they're like, yeah, and they plant a bug on him.
No, I like, before that happens, he touches, T'Challa, and I don't remember, and the general lady is just like,
In
if
her
he touches you again, I will impale him to that desk.
And he's like, whoa, keep this PG! And, not that violent. He's like, no, calm down. And then T'Challa pats him back, but plants a bug on him.
We find out it's from freaking Shuri. I love Shuri so much. Shuri's the best.
And, so, Martin Freeman goes in there and questions him. We get rickrolled.
Yeah, okay. The dude, Claw, is just like singing Rick Astley very badly.
I'm gonna give you up.
I can relate, because that is legitimately the alarm that wakes me up every morning. But at the same time, stop! I get like PTSD when that song starts playing. I'm like, no. I hate it so much, because
Your alarm.
yeah, the song that wakes you up in the morning just fills you with rage every time you hear it.
Mine, yeah. Mine just has to go off for a few notes, and I'm like, no!
What wakes you up every morning?
Mine is like a heavy metal remix of Gravity Falls.
When you hear the Gravity's Fall song, are you just like, no?
Yeah, I could show it to you here.
I mean, if you want to play it for the podcast.
Sure, let me get to it.
Welcome to the part where Sarah looks on her phone for a thing, and I stand here, or sit here. I'm not standing. That would be like, I'm standing for an hour? That would be terrible. No, I'm going to sit here, and I'm going to entertain you with my lovely humor. Or I could let Sarah play this song. So, this doesn't sound heavy metal. Okay.
We're gonna stop that there. It goes on for a while. And it gets gradually, like, louder. And so, and I sleep with my phone on my bed, right? And, like, depending how it, like moves
next
around.
to your face, normally?
Yeah, and so it goes, bam, 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 and you're like, ah! And I wake up pretty early on some days.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my God, save me.
Yeah, I play you part of the song that wakes me up every morning, but I think you've heard it.
Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down.
But it's the never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna turn around and desert you, never gonna make you cry, never gonna say goodbye, never gonna tell a lie just to hurt you.
And then it goes on.
I just wanna tell you how I'm feeling, gotta make you understand.
I'm gonna give you up. And then, yeah.
Never gonna let you down.
And so he's talking for a bit, and
Rick Astley, why?
And one of the chicks, his fiance, T'Challa's fiance, notices ex-fiance notices that a van keeps driving by, and then she goes and checks the camera, and she notices that it's a little bit glitching. And she's like, where is it? And he's like, in the alleyway next to the interrogation room. Yeah, you know, as we put all of our alleys. And then all of a sudden, we see
she runs in and she's like, hey, guys, problem.
Something's wrong. And then we see,
explosion,
and, Killmonger, I don't know his actual name, so that's what we're sticking with here, pops up, saves him, and then, shoots Martin Freeman in the spine.
Yeah, it's not good.
And T'Challa's like, no, and then because they're taking away
he runs
Claw
after him
in the suit,
and he sees that he has a necklace made of vibranium. Well, he has a ring.
He has
on a necklace made out of vibranium,
which
is a replica of the one his father wore.
Yeah, and so he's like, something's up here, and so they're like, Martin Freeman won't be able to survive here. Your technology is completely inferior to ours. Let us take him. And they're like, okay.
What? Okay.
He puts a bead in his spine to stabilize him for a little bit.
Yeah. I like the beads. The beads were like a cool thing that they had.
And then, they were.
They were very, like, they had them and they, like, had holograms. They can apparently save people's lives. Like, just add a little vibranium in your life.
Yeah.
Vibranium, a healthy diet. I bet you could eat it, though. It would probably give you superpowers. I want to eat vibranium now. Can I please eat vibranium?
It doesn't exist, I'm sorry.
I want it. I just, like, that little bead. Like, I bet you could, like, swallow it like a pill. Just, like, whoop.
It's
now
pretty
I have
large.
Superpowers.
It might give you a little bit trouble.
Hard pill to swallow, maybe. But yes, I want freaking superpowers.
Who says they don't eat vibranium, like, have, like, a little dusting of vibranium in their, like, morning breakfast?
Yeah, I would like that.
They neither confirm it or deny it, so it's up to us.
Yeah, because, I mean, like, they put it in their clothing.
Yeah.
They put it in, like, all their technology, so why not eat it, too? Like, I want to eat vibranium now.
I like to imagine, like, you're that one chick that's like, we do everything else with it, why not figure out what it does when we eat it? And they're like,
no.
Knock yourself out.
I'm like,
if you die, we're not sorry.
But vibranium doesn't kill you unless you're stabbed by it. Like, it protects you. It protects you if it's on the outside of you.
We don't even know if it has, like, radiation.
If it's on the outside of you, it protects you. So why not put it inside of you, and it'll protect you more?
Okay.
I mean,
you be that crazy lady that they're like, I'm not gonna tell her no, but like, We should
Sure.
tell her yes because I'm curious to find out.
I'm just like Shuri's secret pen pal.
Yeah. And then so
Yeah.
they come back and they're like
I love the moment in the movie when they're like, does anybody of royal blood wish to challenge? And Shuri just like raises her hand and she's like, this corset is uncomfortable. Can we please get this over with?
mhm. And then from that point they're like, how do we justify bringing a colonist? They're like, how do we justify bringing a colonist? That's what they call Americans.
Colonizers.
Yeah, because we were once the colonies. Just throwing some little history in there.
Anyone who colonized, I think they called them colonizers.
Okay, so anyone not from Africa
I mean,
in Wakanda.
anyone who didn't like colonize. I mean, anyone who colonized, like British,
Okay.
like I think
don't-
America. What was the thing? Like
We were in Newfoundland.
no. What's the maybe no? What's the thing?
Canada?
No, not
I
Canada.
don't know. You're not.
You know the place that got like super bad, super bad like weather. What is it?
Cape Cod?
No, not Cape Cod.
I don't.
It's like
you're giving me
it's
real
an-
vague.
It's like it's not an American state, but it's Puerto Rico, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, is that I think Puerto Rico.
Colombia.
No.
I think it's Puerto Rico, but like
It's like-
it's technically one of ours.
Yeah, but it's not.
But
It's not
it's
a
not a
state.
state. It's
so
like
I
a
think that's
colony,
what
basically.
they're referring to, and they're like, yeah, you were a colony, now you're colonizing. Not cool, bro.
Okay, I don't know.
I mean, just because like Africa was colonized and it was so bad. Like
Anyway,
I
they
think,
call them colonizers, and they're like, how are we gonna justify bringing a colonizer in here? And T'Challa's like, I got this. Don't worry. We just don't tell anyone.
it's a territory. It's technically it's a U.S. territory, but yeah.
And they are like, so Martin gets the help he needs, and T'Challa goes and finds some research about the flower
What?
guy,
Oh,
and
he goes and he talks to him.
he's like, hey, what is this ring?
yeah,
and,
what's the deal with the dude having the ring?
and we learned that he was the guy that was the other guy in the room when
Now I'm thinking
It's-
of the Ring movie. We like the Ring. Now I'm thinking of that movie. I
Um,
haven't even seen it, but I'm thinking about it.
I have.
You've seen the movie?
Yeah.
I heard it's super creepy.
Yeah.
And it's a horror movie, so of course it's super creepy. But
So, and then he tells him about what happened and that there's this kid that he had, they just left him. And then, they're like, he gets super mad about that and he pouts to Bay on a cliff.
as one does.
As
You
one
pout on a
does.
cliff.
And then,
But then we find out that the dude Killmonger, he kind of his girlfriend was killed. He killed her.
yeah,
He also killed everybody, including Claw. And so he like carries Claw's body to the like
Wakanda.
to Wakanda, the like
To the
border people. Yeah.
Border police.
Border people. Border tribe, I think. I don't know.
Border warriors, basically.
Yeah. And he's like, hey, and the dude who really wanted Claw dead, he's like, hey, look, brought you a present. And they're like, okay, what's happening? Slowly roll. And so they bring him to the palace.
Shuri's like, the main warrior
General?
the general.
She's like,
is panicking
Shuri,
because she
where's your brother?
can't get a
I
hold
don't know,
of his
his beads
brother.
are off.
Yeah, and so they turn him back on and it's like, hey, get your little butt back to the palace. We got a situation.
I'm just imagining somebody like telling T'Challa, get your little butt over here. Like
Your
who
little butt
who
over here.
says that to the king of
I almost
Wakanda?
said like patoot, which is like it's a
Worse.
it's butt, but like a different word. It's like a literal word.
Hmm?
It's like for kids when you like don't say butt and like they're like but it's a
Patoot.
yeah, it's a different word for butt. Anyway, I only know this because of a weird Dodger. Press heart to continue is what she used to do playthroughs of like dating games, sort of, and she named one of hers Patoot Bag or whatever.
What?
I think it was
Okay.
something, and she's because the character could like switch between like being like a cat or what, and you can name the cat and you can name the human, and
That's
she named
cool.
like I know
A
like
dating sim was like that?
yeah, it's weird.
Oh,
She
this is
used to go
interesting.
down the deep dark of the dating. So it was like butt bag, and she was like patoot sack, and so yeah, and so that's how I know patoot is butt.
Most of that sentence didn't make sense to me, but I want it to.
I can show you the video,
Okay.
like the video series after this. Maybe I'll have to search her stuff.
Okay.
Get your little patootie over in the palace, and he's like, okay, and he shows up. And they're in a meeting, and this Killmonger is like,
Yeah. I challenge you.
I challenge you for the throne. And everyone's like, you can't do that. You're not royalty. And he's like, oh, but I am.
Yeah.
Oh, and then they're like, no, you're not. And he's like, let me tell them my name. And he's like, no, get out of here. Like T'Challa's like, no, get out of here. And then he blurts out his name anyway.
No, someone's like, what's your name? Because they're curious.
Yeah, and he...
Gosh darn it, old dude.
In their language, he says his name.
Mm-hmm.
And
Prince of whatever, son of whatever.
yeah, I don't remember any of it. I'm really bad at names.
Yeah.
Don't quiz me on names ever.
You don't... Okay, who's Zuri?
I don't know.
Zuri's the guy who was...
Flower guy?
The flower guy, yeah.
Flower guy. Okay.
Zuri's the flower guy. Who's Shuri?
Brother.
Brother?
Sister of the King T'Challa.
Who's... Okay, but which one's T'Challa and which one's T'Chaka?
T'Challa is the king now.
T'Challa's the king now?
T'Chaka is the king that's dead. Yeah?
Are you sure?
No.
You're right.
Woo!
You sound so much really like, maybe.
Maybe. And then, so he's like, they're like, he's like, I want to challenge you now. They're like, no, that takes about a week. And he's like, no, I don't need all those people. I need it now. And then so they go to the site and they're like,
Fight.
They basically do the ritual over again. But instead of like yielding or anything, he just
he throws freaking T'Challa over a cliff, over a waterfall.
Killing Flower Dude too. Because he's trying to save T'Challa. And is like, no, I'm the one that killed your father. And he's like,
no, I'm the reason your father's dead.
Yeah. And then he's like, oh, then I'll kill both of you.
Yeah.
And so he kills Flower Dude.
You either die or you yield.
Yeah, and so and then he picks up T'Challa and throws him all over the water fountain. Yeah. And everyone presumes him dead and
assumes him dead.
And then he is crowned king, and his first actions as king is to weaponize all of the like spies.
Yeah.
That they have in every country
and give the weapons to the people of the world so they can rise up and overthrow their governments.
Yep.
He's an anarchist, basically.
Yep. And then the mother, the ex-fiance, his sister, and they try and get the general, but she's like, no, I am loyal to the throne. To run away, they run away. The general stays.
The one chick steals a heart-shaped fruit.
The ex.
Okay, wait.
Steals
Here's my question. What my thought was when she took the herb.
Nakia, that's her name.
What I thought she was gonna do is she was gonna take that and then they're going to like replant all the flowers.
Because
they were all burned.
They were right before they were about to be burned. She stole.
Yeah, she
the
stole
middle
one.
of a. What would have been better if she took the entire plant so they could like rebuild, but no, people have a lot of issues with this scene.
Yeah. So I like to assume that only the what was above the soil burned, and so it'll grow back from the roots. That's what I choose to believe.
I believe they have like some contingency plan.
Yeah, you know in Antarctica how they have like the seed banks.
Mhm. They have like one of those
Yeah.
like up in the mountains.
one
or
of
something.
those.
One of those. And so she takes that and they run away to the mountain gorilla people.
Yeah,
They're not gorilla people. Their god is a gorilla, so
they bark.
they
Yeah,
craft themselves in gorilla-like manner. They're vegetarians except for they eat fish because later they're like, one of our fishes.
pescatarians.
Pescatarians. And so they go up there and they're like, we have to convince them.
Yeah, here,
They also
take this fruit, sir.
They also take Martin.
Yeah, they take Martin Freeman.
Sorry.
I like that he was locked in. He was locked in like an office for like hours.
Yeah. As this fighting was going down, he was like in
Like office. She's like, don't worry, I locked him in the office.
I like to think like Wakandan doors are different, so he was like going around like, how do I exit?
How do doors work?
And we know that their windows are very like sturdy.
Yeah.
So he couldn't like break one of those.
I like to think they have
Like,
vibranium
embedded
in their windows.
Yeah, I think they have like vibranium and everything because
vibranium in their cereal because they eat it. Vibranium in their paper
Yeah.
so you can't rip it. Vibranium's in their pen, in the ink. Vibranium ink. It's the strongest ink ever. That pen will never run out of ink.
It might be like the shiniest too.
The shiniest, like you know how sometimes
it will never smudge because it'll be ingrained in the paper.
you know how sometimes paper's like super shiny, like the ink is like shiny and like yeah, it's like super shiny.
And it's ingrained in the paper, so you never have to worry about smudging.
Yeah, which would be great for me because I'm left-handed and everything smudges.
Yeah, I mean,
I hate smudges.
I'm really impatient when it comes writing in books.
Yeah.
So like I'll just go,
Close it.
and now all of my things are smudged.
I apologize for the sound of the slamming book right next to your ear. I apologize for Sarah as she does it again. Please don't. Sarah, help. Somebody help. She's
Okay,
Wakanda forever.
Anyway, so they're like fleeing to the mountains and they're like trying to convince this guy, like the king of the mountain basically, to lend any help they can. And he's like, well, I can do one thing for you. And he goes to like, he goes, and look at this! And it's T'Challa.
Or is it T'Chaka?
I don't know! It's a ta! T'Challa. And they're like, oh my god, is he breathing? And he's like, for now. And they're like, we have to get him to my lab. And
I apologize for the sound of Sarah clapping.
and then so like he's like, no, he's gonna die in with a minute. You don't have time for that. And so the mother's like, oh my god,
Give me the flower.
the heart-shaped herb. And so they're like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And so they basically do the whole like Black Panther ritual again. And then we see him in the spirit world.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like,
Talking to his dad.
he's like, son, it's time for you. And he's like, no, father, why did you leave that kid there? And he's like, that is the part of the truth I wanted to omit. And he's like, we need to be better. We need to basically not live in the shadows anymore.
Wakanda can no longer watch from the shadows.
Yep, and so he basically rejects death at that moment. And he comes back to
I
life.
reject your reality and substitute my own.
And he comes back to life, and they're like, yes! And Shuri gives him the necklace. He has a whole heart-to-heart moment with his family, his fiance, ex-fiance.
Yeah.
And Martin's like there in the background going, yes! And
Queen.
and then
Wow.
he turns to the
what?
Mountain King, because the Mountain King's like,
Yeah, you got a nice moment, but like, what do I
and
got?
then he's like, give me a moment with this Mountain King.
Yes.
And then he's like, thank you for what you did. I would appreciate an army. And he's like, I gave you a life for a life. My life for your life. Because you saved me and all of that. And so, he's like, you go do you. I'll think about it.
Your mom can stay here, though.
Yeah, he's
That's-
like, I need my mom to be safe. And he's like, yeah, sure. No harm will come to her. And so, I'm assuming during this time, like, the mom convinces because they come back later.
Yeah.
But anyway. And so he goes to the other king because he's setting out these weapons to go to people.
War.
And he's like, how long? And they give him like specifics. And then T'Challa's like, not today! And he wrecks his ship and he's like, the challenge is not over as I am alive and have not yielded.
I have not yielded, and as you can see, I'm not dead. So, challenge is still going on.
And so, from there, he goes to look at the border warriors and is like, fight them. And then the general, who's the love of the leader of the border warriors.
Yeah, she's like, my love, don't.
It is a ritual. We do not interfere. And he's like, we're interfering. And
he's following the one dude, because, you know.
He killed Claw, and Claw killed his family, and he feels indebted to him. And so they get into this war. He eventually caused, like, battle rhinos.
Yeah.
And Martin gets into a plane to kill the other planes that have taken off with the weapons.
Mm-hmm.
And this goes on for a little bit, and the mountain warriors come busting up in here when everything looks like they're about to fall. And he's like, not today! And they fight, and they win.
They fight, they win.
The general makes the border warriors stand down because he's like, you would not kill me for Wakanda, would you?
My love?
And she's
for
like,
for Wakanda, without a thought.
yeah. And meanwhile, Black Panther throws Warmonger down into the mine and is talking
he's about to, kill his sister.
Yeah, talking to Shuri and's like, hey, we're on the bottom track. Turn that on.
Yeah,
and because they are vibranium neutralizers.
Yeah.
And their suits are made of vibranium.
As we can see, it doesn't, neutralize it all the way.
Just enough.
Just enough for the vibranium to be safe to transport at such high speeds.
Yeah.
What I think is interesting that the train is going so fast and they're able to,
dodge out of the way.
No, if you're, that close to a train, you're gonna be, moved by the train.
Yeah,
but
they're not. That's weird. Yeah, that's weird. I didn't notice that.
I mean,
but now that you pointed it out.
Yeah. I mean, they were, enhanced with,
the heart-shaped herb. The Black Panther goddess's power.
Yeah, whatever.
Whatever you want to call it, I'm calling it the heart-shaped herb because that's what they call it.
Yeah. Weird thing to mention right now, but I just looked it up on Wikipedia. According to Wikipedia, both Captain Marvel and the Untitled Avengers film, blah, 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 the Untitled Avengers film.
Avengers 4?
Avengers 4. I like that it's just called Untitled Avengers film. Come on, we know you have a name for that.
Yeah.
Just tell us the name. But according to Wikipedia, it's in post-production, which means the filming's, already done for it.
Yeah, they did Infinity Wars and that one near the same time.
You're saying
they were filming? They were, dual filming. Because during, one of the interviews I saw, they were like, we have shot... we were finishing up shooting for Infinity Wars, and we're working on... he was like, what I'm calling it right now is Avengers 4.
Yeah.
So
that means that they filmed... That means Captain Marvel probably... the actress for Captain Marvel probably filmed the Avengers 4 before she filmed Captain Marvel.
Actually, yeah.
Which I think is interesting, because she's just like, I'm gonna do this thing, and then I'm gonna pretend I didn't do that. And then I'm gonna pretend it's the 70s, so...
Marvel does weird things.
But yeah, Captain Marvel and Avengers 4 is in post-production. And Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is in development, but Spider-Man Far From Home is in filming currently.
Yeah,
I like...
So
I don't know if I've made this joke on the podcast that what if Spider-Man Far From Home is just like Tony Stark crying next to a pile of dust for 2 hours, which is terrible to say, but also
hilarious.
kind of funny in a dark, twisted kind of way.
Yeah. So they're fighting on
Yeah.
the track.
Underwear.
They're under the mountain.
What?
Yeah, it's a mountain.
I like that you're like, hold up.
Yeah.
Let me think.
I was like, is
Where
it a
are
mountain?
they?
Yeah.
Which one's king? T'Challa or T'Chaka?
What? Yeah. No, this whole movie for me is very confusing.
Like,
with
what
names.
are names?
I can't do names regular. Like,
Who's T'Challa? Sarah.
the king now?
T'Challa is the king now,
Okay.
and T'Chaka was
Is
his
the-
father?
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Like,
Your
if-
confidence is astounding.
Yeah.
I love it. You're just like, I think, maybe, possibly this is the
It
thing.
took me forever to get my friend of 11 years name. 11 years. And it took me about like 2 to 3 of those to get her name.
You've seen this movie twice already. I've only seen it once.
I'm horrible with names. Like, I made this new friend
Yeah.
in my college class.
Yeah.
And I have no clue what her name is. Whatsoever. If you're listening to this, I'm sorry.
You know, it wasn't hard for you to get my name, was it? Because I have a basic name.
Yes, because I had to remember I have a pink dog.
Oh, yes.
Fluffy, that's the exact same name.
You saw me, you're thinking, a pink dog.
I'm like, I have something named. That's your name. Ah, yes, my pink dog. So
when you look at me, you think of a stuffed animal?
I now associate you with your name. But it takes me a while. Like, if you're like, hey, this is my name.
Sarah.
I'm sorry. This is my name. I have to associate it with something immediately,
Yes.
or it's gone forever. Unless I'm like, hey, what's your name? I know we've been talking for like 3 weeks now.
I feel like you should just you should make name tags,
yeah.
and just every time you see them, you're like, yes, this is your name tag. Put it on their forehead. Just like, yeah, I like giving people name tags. You know. Would you like a name tag? Too bad you get a name tag. Put your name on the name tag.
One of my teachers.
Yeah.
For the only reason why I know him is because I also have his father as a teacher.
Sorry, but wouldn't that be weird to have like a teacher and then their dad's also your teacher, and you just call them both by the same like?
Yeah, I
yes,
have to go Mr. and then like say his like.
Yeah, Mr.
Yeah, Mr. And then like
Mr. Senior, sir.
Like
Yeah.
I have to like think of like, whoa, this is not cool. I don't like this. But like, it's the degree I have to have one of them, and the other one is like a fine arts.
Yeah.
And I have to also have him, so there was no way around it. It's very trippy. I don't ever recommend this. And so we were
they're fighting.
Yeah, Killmonger gets stabbed finally with a spear, and he's like, you know what? I just really wanted to be here. My dad always talked about the sunset. I wanted to see one. And so, T'Challa was like, hey, you know what, bro? It's about to be sunset.
Let me show you.
And so he shows him one, and he's like,
We Can Save Your Life by BT Dubs.
yeah, and he's like, nah, I would rather be free than ever be in bondage. And then he goes on about some other stuff, like, he's like, throw me in the sea because my
ancestors knew
that
dying was better than enslavement.
Yeah, and so he takes out the spear and he dies.
Yeah.
And so the movie ends there. Except there's
there's a moment where they're like, actually, we're gonna not we're gonna like go help. We're gonna help.
Nakia, I think, his ex-fiance, he's like, she's like, he's like, you can stay here. And she's like, nah, I found my calling out there. And he's like, but wait,
There's more.
I could help you with that. And she's like, oh yeah? And they do a little smoochy smooch.
Kiss, kiss, fall enough. And then there's a moment where he talks to the council, and then we see that the building where his dad murdered his uncle,
Yeah.
he bought that.
And that building over there, and that building, it never shows us the other two buildings.
But those buildings are now the, like, Wakanda reach outpost thing.
And that Shuri is
Gonna be in head of technology. But
in science.
But my favorite thing is when she's like, well, you told me you were taking me to California
for the first time.
I thought it was going to be to Coachella or Disneyland.
And he shows, like, he's like, you know what? I'm going to park our, like,
Spaceship.
space, like, our airship. And he does. And, like, these kids are like, whoa! There's a spaceship here.
Could we sell it? We should, like, totally, like, take this apart and sell it on eBay.
And then Shuri goes up and is like, nah, that's not a good idea because it's mine.
Yeah.
And they're like, whoa.
And then
like,
one of them turns to T'Challa, and they're like, who are you?
Yeah, and he's like, I'm a Wakandan. And then it cuts away, and then the first end scene credit is him being like, Wakanda will no longer stand in the shadows. We will give our technology to you.
And they're like, what's a bunch of farmers gonna help us? No offense, sir, but, like, how's a bunch of farmers gonna help us?
And he's like, I'm glad you asked. And then it goes back to more scenes. And then afterwards, it shows Bucky, the White Wolf.
Yeah, that's super pumped. We get to see Bucky, freaking Bucky. And Bucky's great. There's a part where when they bring Ross Watson dude in, they bring him in, and Shuri's just like, oh great, another
broken white dude to take care of.
Yeah, I like that part.
Yeah. And so this is we finished the recap.
We have reached the end of the recap, and now it's time to go for our notes. First note I have is 1992.
I have Wakanda, and then I have 1992.
Weird lip thing when they, like, pull down their lip, and they're like, look, I got a warrior's mark on the inside of my lip.
Look, I tattooed the inside of my lip, but it's glowing blue. Who would have thought?
Who would have thunk it?
I have Age of Ultron Man.
What? Oh,
because they show him the picture of
Scar?
No,
not Scar.
Claw.
Claw.
When he's stealing the vibranium, I was like, Age of Ultron Man. Oh, because they didn't tell us his name. Yeah. And I'm forgetful. The only reason why I know Claw is because cats have claws, and this is Black Panther. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a moment when when they're rescuing, they're not rescuing, but they're, like, bringing the one girl in from her mission, and, like, T'Challa's, like, in a tree, and, like, the people, like, come, and they're like, what's this dog barking at? And there's a dog, and the dog, like, is barking up at the tree that T'Challa's in the Black Panther costume, and I'm like, ha ha ha, dog barking at a cat in a tree, but it's not a cat, it's T'Challa.
I have, how do they craft anything with vibranium? Because, like, that must be really difficult.
Not if you use vibranium. They craft vibranium.
Yeah, but, like, no, I was thinking, like, originally.
Yeah.
Like, how did they?
Well, they got a chunk of vibranium, like,
and
just,
they
like,
just started beating.
Yeah.
Okay, like, so they had a long way to go from.
Like, they took a big chunk of it that had, like, I don't know, fallen off when it crashed, and I just kept on hitting it.
So, basically, they had to go caveman.
Yeah.
Because
they were cavemen.
This big rock, crash.
Yeah.
Basically.
I like to think that's how they
Until they're advanced enough to realize that.
Until they have enough, until they've, like, sculpted a vibranium into an axe, and they can break it.
Yeah, it must have been a long, lengthy process, and I'm so glad, like, that's not, like, my history class, because I would be, like, bored. I'd be like,
cool.
Can we do something else, kids?
Next note I have is Shuri. Just Shuri.
They brought back the old Marvel theme, because they kept, like, changing it for, like, the past, like, 4 movies. I'm like, okay, but, like, where do we stop?
Wakanda forever is my next note.
I have when, she's like, don't freeze when you see her. he's like, I don't freeze. She sassily puts like the spear
Yeah.
back. I have that.
He's like, no, I will go alone.
Yeah. And she's like, and puts the spear back.
Yeah.
I have, they are party boats.
Yeah, I love the party boats. Party boats.
Yeah, because they're all like partying. They're going to like basically a death match, and they're like, woo!
I mean, it doesn't have to be a death match.
Yeah, but like essentially,
I mean, it was just formalities. Like none of the people challenged.
except for the mountain,
Yeah, but they didn't prepare for them to come. That
which that also made them mad.
yeah,
that's
they're
why
like,
they showed
hey,
up.
dude.
You know that scene in the middle episode where like, you're not invited, and she's like, oh, that's what happened with these guys.
Oh, I thought my invitation must have got lost. How embarrassing.
Yeah, that's basically what happened.
Well, since I'm here, why don't I give the little brat a gift?
And then,
On the
her
on your 16th birthday, she will prick her finger on the spindle of the spinning wheel and die.
and you'll be put in a death-like sleep.
Well, I mean, it was and die in the original, and then the last fairy hadn't given her gift yet.
Oh yeah, okay. So
they were, and she's like, she will not. I cannot reverse the spell, but I can change it a bit.
But
She will simply fall into a dreamlike state until her true love gives her true love's first kiss.
okay, I haven't seen that in forever. It used to be okay. So Lion King was my favorite movie, but my favorite like princess movie was Sleeping Beauty.
Oh,
Aurora.
interesting.
Yeah. And it was like the old Disney one, not the new one.
I remember I was like going to a sleepover, and like the big attraction of the sleepover was like, we're gonna watch Princess and the Frog, which was like the most recent princess movie out at the time. But at the same time, like that day, like before the sleepover, like at my school, they're like, guess what we're watching? Princess and the Frog. So I saw it twice. The next note I have is, why do you have your toes out in my lab?
I have.
Because when she's like, what are those? Why are your toes out in my lab?
I have.
I loved that part because I'm just like, yes,
rem-
Shuri, burn.
Yeah. I have remember who you are, because during the fight, she's like, T'Challa, show him who you are. And I was, me being a big Lion King fan, was like, remember who you are. And then I quoted Lion King too.
I would just like it pointed out that I feel like for your birthday or something, we should take you to see like Lion King on Broadway. You would flip.
I would love that.
You would lose your shenanigans.
I would. I've always wanted to see Lion King on Broadway.
I would hate it, but I'd suffer through it for you.
I mean, it's gonna be different than the movie because the movie is animated and the thing is live action.
How excited are you for the live action quote unquote version of the Lion King?
If it's like the Jungle Book, how they did that live action, I am stoked.
I like how the Jungle Book is the Jungle Book was essentially just one kid in a diaper away from being animated. The Lion King, the new version of the Lion King, isn't going to be live action. It's just going to be better animated.
Yeah, it's gonna be like CGI animated.
Yeah,
but like good CGI, like the
realistic.
Avatar. Like
super realistic.
it's super realistic, and I'm stoked.
Sarah's gonna lose it.
I'm gonna lose it.
Imagine if the year that comes out, you go see Lion King on Broadway.
I would. Oh my god, I could die right there. Like after that.
Yes. If you go to Lion King on Broadway, would you bring me with you?
Probably.
You'd be like, who am I going to share this with?
Yeah.
I know.
But the thing is, the person would have to put up with me quoting it.
Yeah. But I mean, it probably isn't like word for word.
It isn't word for word, but like they're gonna put up with me quoting the movie right next to them.
I'm gonna be the main event,
like no king was before. I'm brushing up, I'm looking down, I'm working on my roar.
Oh, I just can't
Wait,
to be king. No one's saying do this. No one's saying do that. No one's saying be there. No one's saying
be there. No one's saying
You-
stop that.
you can run around.
No one's saying see here.
Now see here. You can run around all day. We'll do it all my way. Yeah.
And then it goes.
I like that you're legitimately wearing a Lion King shirt right now.
Yeah. Yeah. It has
Yeah.
Simba.
And then Timon and Pumbaa.
Yeah, Timon and Pumbaa, and then on it says Hakuna Matata.
Yes, it is
It's kind of like a tank top, but like more.
more better.
Yeah, it's better.
It's looser.
Yeah, it's looser, and it's not like spaghetti strapped where it's
Yeah.
like digging into your shoulder. So it's really good for like flowy. I've been moving,
Yeah.
so like it's good for like.
Moving
that.
things.
And if I'm gonna wear pants, I'm gonna wear a shirt I love, and I have about 5 Lion King shirts, and this is my favorite.
I'm surprised
you can't
you're
tell
like
by-
not wearing pajama pants right now.
I thought about it. I legit thought about it,
And you're just like, pajama
and
pants.
they would have been Batman.
Batman pajama pants. Cause who can
2
say
of my
no?
favorite movies.
Batman
Batman
and the Lion King.
I can quote The Batman Returns.
The only thing
Not as good as Lion King, but like for the main part, it's
the
good.
only like word for word quote I can quote from any Batman thing at all is it's what's his face? It's the Jarvis of Batman. What is Butler? What's the Butler's name?
Alfred.
Alfred. Yes, Alfred being like, some people just want to watch the world burn.
My favorite part is essentially him going, "Do you even lift, bro?" While like a beam on fire is on Bruce Wayne, and he's like, "You do all those push-ups in the morning, and you can't even lift this stupid beam." And Batman just like Bruce just goes, "Oh my God, you're sassing me right now. I'm almost dying, and you're sassing me." And he just goes, like he rages from that and just throws it off of him.
I like that.
And they take the time to like smash the car keys on
Any DC fan is going to kill me for just calling Alfred the Jarvis of
Yeah,
Batman.
the Jarvis of Batman. I don't know if they heard it, but like I did like a sigh. I was like, and then,
So okay, sometimes I couldn't remember freaking what's the thing? I couldn't remember Puerto Rico earlier. Okay, if I don't like, if something's not like a thing that I memorize, I don't remember it. Like, I can tell you the difference between T'Challa and T'Chaka.
I have stupid trivia, but I cannot remember names. Like I know that a heart, if taken out of the chest, can squirt 50 feet of blood.
I know that when Vikings, when they like were murdering somebody, they would like, for fun, they'd like cut him open while he was still alive and like put his like lungs and his like kind of organs on their chest while they were still alive and like watch them die like that.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And also, I can tell you a lot about ancient Egypt if you want that.
Yeah, you proved that in a phone call we were having. You were like, "Hey,
Hey, Sarah.
yeah, we were talking about stuff, and you were like, hey, do you want to know ancient Egypt?"
I think the reason we were talking about it, because I was like, you know what I was like super afraid of as a kid? I had the bunk bed, but there's no bottom bunk, and I was always afraid there would be like a dead, like mummified body in my bed.
It wasn't like alive, it was like dead.
No, I wasn't afraid of like it being like a zombie and it was gonna eat. No, I was just like gonna be like, ew, there's a gross dead body in my bed. That was my fear as a child. I was like, dead body, gross. It wasn't even like scary. It was just gross. I don't know why that was the thing I was so afraid of. Like, how would somebody put a dead body in my bed without me noticing?
Why would they come into your bedroom and be like, "Ah, yes, perfect place to put the mummy I just stole," and then leave it and never come back
on a child's bed?
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you can't tell, I used to watch, like, ancient Egypt documentaries as a kid. It was a weird hobby.
I would watch Lion King.
Yeah, you watched The Lion King. I'm like, yes, ancient Egypt. Let me watch people give a mummy an MRI scan.
Also, I want to shout out to my mom for putting up with me watching The Lion King 24/7.
Nobody put up with me watching ancient Egypt documentaries. Like, I would do it at night. Just, like, in the dead of night. I'm just like, you know what I'm gonna do? Watch ancient Egypt documentaries.
I'm a night creature, so she would wake me up because she knew turning on the lights wouldn't work.
But you know what will work? Turning on the Lion King.
They're like, talking to her won't work. You know what will work?
Lion King.
And so, yeah, turn on the Lion King. I'd be like, Lion King? Lion King? Lion King?
Timon? Pumbaa? Nala? What were you doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, where were we at in our notes?
I have, the kids are unamused because when they were putting him under the thing, when it came up, he's like, ha, ha, ha! And he's like, breathe, breathe. And the kids are like, yep, another day of the job, let's go.
Come on, guys. Come on. Next note I have is, okay, so it's when Shuri is, like, recording, her brother, and he's like, what are you doing? And we're like, you're recording? And she's like, for research purposes. Obviously.
I have the awkward moment when your bracelet rings.
Oh.
Yeah, because he was, like, in a serious conversation, his bracelet started ringing.
Yeah, he's like, oh, excuse me, I'm sorry.
And then, Shuri and, T'Challa have a handshake. And I was like, they have a handshake? None of me and any of my siblings have a handshake.
You salty?
I was never old enough to understand how to do a handshake.
You're still not old enough to understand how to do a handshake.
I'm still like, okay, so you want me to, like, and then you want me to, like, yeah.
Sarah's doing motions. I know you can't see it.
Yeah, and then I have a brother-sister moment when she records it, and he's like, delete that!
Yeah, the next quote, the next note I have is, delete that footage, is what he says.
Yeah, it's great. I was confused. I was like, does vibranium set off metal detectors? We later came to the conclusion it's space metal. Why would you be searching for space metal?
No, it does not. It does not set off metal detectors.
And then, I have fragile, because when, Claw takes out, the,
vibranium
and slams it on the table, it has fragile written on it.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, nice joke you got there.
I see you're joking. Ha 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 ha. Funny. Jokes.
And then I have, duct tape for life. Because, he only has, like, one hand because they took off his other hand, like, because it's a weapon.
It's prosthetic, yeah.
And so, they have chained one of his hands to the chair, and to firmly, like, make sure he's not getting out, they duct taped him to the chair.
I just covered a paintbrush in, tape.
I have a secret combo in front of the person.
Oh yeah, the next note I have is Watson. I should have mentioned that.
Watson.
Oh yeah, let me catch up.
Yeah, because you were going. I was like, do you want me to just continue?
The next note I have is Watson, because John Watson. That's who Martin Freeman plays. And then the general, like, she's fighting someone and she was wearing a wig and she, like, throws the wig in the fight, like, at someone's face. She's like, so the next note I have is throws wig in fight.
Wig is a weapon! And then, I have secret combo in front of that person. Because they're talking in, the Wakandan language, which is not called Wakandan, which is confusing. I stopped that rant there. And so, basically, she's like, I'm gonna stab him with my spear if he touches you again. And they're like,
okay, calm down. It's okay.
And then I have ... They just rickrolled us.
Oh yeah, because Claw was singing. Yeah. Next note I have is T'Challa planted something on him, didn't he? Meaning Watson.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, he did. When they see that he did. Yeah, you did.
Also, I made a note here. I'm really bad at names, and they keep saying weird names, which means I will hardly remember any of them.
Yeah.
I don't even remember Watson, George Martin.
It was like
Martin Freeman's name.
It was Ross, I think.
It was something Ross.
Yeah, Everett, I think. I want to say his name was Everett Ross.
Okay, I'm gonna believe you because I am not the source for you to be like, yeah, they totally said that. Because I'm just gonna believe whatever you tell me.
I mean, I could right now I could say Bilbo, and you'd probably
I'd
believe
be
me.
like, yep, Bilbo is totally that name.
Next note I have is when Martin Freeman was waking up in the lab, and I was like, and he was talking to Suri, and he's like, "Is this Wakanda?" And she's like, "No, it's Kansas,"
No.
being sarcastic.
The next note I have is when T'Challa is trying to figure out who that guy, who his uncle was.
Yeah, it's Everett Ross.
Everett Ross. Who his uncle was, and he's like, no, the king, the flower dude's like, no, the king told me not to, and he's like, I am your king, and I'm like, whoa, yelling solves nothing here. Stop it. Use your inside voice.
Apparently, his name is Everett K. Ross. I think it's interesting that his last name is Ross, because Ross is the name of the general,
Yeah.
and it's the
Incredible
general
Hulk.
from The Incredible Hulk, and also Betty's name.
Yeah.
And here's a picture of him on a toilet, just like crouching on the seat of a toilet.
Okay.
I don't know why that was a thing that popped up when I searched his name, but it was, and
It's from the comic books.
yeah.
And then the next note I have is...
Oh, wait, what? Here's a picture of him next to, Marvel, Captain Marvel. What? Or is that, wait, that might act...
I don't know.
That might not be Captain Marvel. That might be the girl from, that might just so happen to be the girl from the, Peggy's niece. That might be Peggy's niece.
Okay.
I can't tell blondes apart, apparently. I'm sorry. I got excited for a moment. I was like, yes! His middle name is Kenneth. Sorry.
I have, that moment you get so depressed you have to go sit on a cliff with Bae.
I added the with Bae part.
Yeah, I was like, that moment you have to go sit on a cliff and you're like, with Bae. I was like, right, he has Bae.
Bae's there to make it all better. This, I'm jumping, way forward, but the next note I have is when, the king of, the 5th, tribe is, telling Watson to shut up. He's like, if you say another word, I will feed you to my children. And then the quote I have is, and they start laughing, he's like, just kidding, we're vegetarian.
Yeah. I have, long live the king, which is another
Long live the king.
Lion King quote if you've never seen it. If you have, it's one of the most famous quotes. Yeah. And then, because he throws him off the thing, which,
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I love the aesthetics of the red sand when they throw you under it with the thing. And then I have, hey, big guy, sun's getting real low. Because they're like, hey,
calm down.
I was like, hey, big guy, sun's getting real low. And then they're going up the mountain to the thing. And I was like, so stealthy. They got them sneaks, man.
They must be wearing sneakers.
And then this is after that, when they're talking to the king. But I was like, I love the Queen Mother's hair. Ah!
Yeah, I like her hair.
And then,
yeah. What's your next
I
one?
have in the fight now.
Yeah.
When they're, trying to block T'Challa from getting to, Killmonger. And I was like, they didn't expect his sweet, sweet hops! Because they, put shields up and they're like, haha, you can't get through. And T'Challa's like, no.
T'Challa or T'Chaka?
I don't know, okay? Just accept whatever I say as the king.
You keep on saying it correctly, but I keep on questioning you because it's fun.
And then I have battle rhinos.
Yeah, the next note I have is battle rhino.
Battle rhinos.
Who doesn't love a battle rhino?
And I have, they don't have a word for necklace. They just straight up say necklace.
Yeah.
Which is weird because they're like, get the necklace, but in their language, which is something necklace. And I was like,
They
Oh
don't
my
have
God.
a word for necklace.
did they get lazy here?
You mean the people writing the script?
No, for the people writing the language.
No, I mean, like...
Yes, the people writing the script.
Okay.
Basically
Stanley.
Stanley wrote the language. So he got lazy there. He's like, it's the end of the movie, necklace.
I don't think Stanley was directly involved, but yes.
Yeah. And then I have Kiss, Kiss, Fall in Love.
Because him and his ex-fiance.
And then I have,
Yeah.
T'Challa, should do the Khaleesi name thing to the kid. Because
Yeah,
he's like,
'cause-
who are you? And I was like, and then I turned to her and I started quoting, I am, Daenerys Stormborn, of House Targaryen. I'm Khaleesi of the Green Grass Sea. And then, sorry, I can go on. I'll stop
I
there.
am the breaker of chains.
I am the breaker of chains.
I am the mother of dragons!
Yeah, she ends with that.
Okay.
She has a lot of names, and she's like, I am the mother of dragons and the rightful heir to the Iron Throne. Snaps.
Snap, snap. Guess who's that?
She also is like the granddaughter to the Mad King, but that's not
Yeah,
something
we
you want
don't want to brag about that.
No, the Mad King is the Mad King, and he's really bad.
Yeah, so I have end credits. Wakanda won't watch from the shadows.
Wakanda won't watch from the shadows anymore. What does Wakanda have to show? Well,
Glad you asked. What's your next note?
I have Bucky's hair is so great.
I have end credits. Bucky! Exclamation mark. And then White Wolf is the next note I have. White Wolf, because that's what they call him, which
Yeah.
I think is nifty. I like that.
I'm glad they call him something other than
The Winter Soldier. We, Sarah, I don't know if you noticed, have reached the end of our notes.
Oh my goodness!
Which means we're coming to the end of the podcast.
Yeah?
So, it's nice been talking to you. I'm not going to talk to you for a week now, but, goodbye.
Apparently, I just,
We
when
don't-
the podcast ends, I just, teleport home and we don't talk to each other.
Yeah, we're just like, we secretly hate each other.
We absolutely hate. We do 2 podcasts now and we completely hate each other.
We despise each other.
We do YouTube videos, but it's all for,
It's fake.
It's all fake.
I hate you with all of my guts.
Conspiracy theory.
On my deep down, I despise you. I see your face and it fills me with rage. I'm just
you see
her
me
again.
everywhere else and you're like, no.
Her.
But, for other people, you'll put on a smile. And
Yeah,
look
you're
in.
like, oh, great, I have to smile when I look at you. This is great.
Oh
I hate you.
Somewhere out there, someone believes this now.
It's joking. We're joking.
We love each other. Mostly.
as you believe. And when she says we love each other, she means that in a completely platonic sense. Please, shippers don't.
Shippers, please don't.
They're not gonna listen.
Please don't send us any weird fan art. Please don't.
But if you want to send us... We're acting like people actually listen to the podcast.
Regularly.
I mean, if you want to prove us wrong, that
Send us
people
fan art.
actually... I mean, I was gonna say just, leave a review on the podcast, but,
yeah.
I mean... Do you actually... if
No, I don't
if you want to send us fan art, there's an email, thisisactuallyMagicPodcast@gmail.com. If you want to prove your loyalty and existence in the form of fan art, however, I suggest just leaving a review being like, I exist.
Call back to another one. It goes either say I exist or I am the void.
Yeah, because Sarah was like, Sarah said we were just shouting out to the void. So I was like, okay, leave a review saying either I exist or I am the void, because Sarah said she's shouting at the
thought
void.
no one listened to this, and she's like, I got stats to prove you wrong. I was like, whoa.
Wait, what?
My mind blew, and I was like, oh my god.
So
People exist.
yeah, people exist, Sarah.
People exist.
There are people in Russia,
but
and they exist.
You know how committed I was to this? I was shouting out literally to the void. I didn't know any different. I still came back. So, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
This is the end of the podcast. This is the end of our notes. So yeah, I am Liz is actually magic. If you want to check out my YouTube channel, up today, which will be 2 days ago when this goes up. I did it on Saturday because today is Saturday. I uploaded a video called
Mainly for me.
mainly for Sarah because she's going to learn the technical side of podcasting. How I personally podcast.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a podcast called Almost D&D.
Yeah, which features the lovely and talented Liz is actually magic. I hear she's fantastic to work with. What do you think?
Yeah.
Do you hate her guts?
As far as they know, no.
As far as they know, I do not.
If you
Yeah.
are too lazy to wait for that, I have some content on my YouTube channel.
Very, very, very
The
slim.
Sarah way.
Or you could just listen or perhaps re-listen to all of the other episodes of this podcast. So you could hear my lovely voice and the sound of Sarah screeching.
Or me ranting about weird stuff like video games, The Lion King, whatever.
Yeah. I'm
feeling.
still waiting for game lore. I want you to make that
Game lore?
podcast.
Okay.
Just shout game lore at me. I love it when people rant to me about something they're passionate about. I'm just like, yes, nerd to me more.
I am not prepared for this, so we'll have to do that a different day.
It's at a different time I will be ranted at.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I will do like a bulleted list and be like, today we're doing all of this.
Here, rant to me about this. Would you mind putting that up? Thank you. So, we're gonna go. That's the Sarah way. I'm Liz is actually magic. You can check out our Instagram or YouTube channels. Okay,
We'll
goodbye.
see you I should really call like 911 at this point and be like, my friend, she's not breathing. Like, no, I think she's still alive. Because I don't know if you can hear her. But, she's not breathing. This has been going on for a couple minutes. Help me.
Okay, bye.
Bye.